And howdy, once again, we are having a second cup of coffee here with Ronnie Wilson, and Ronnie is Hopkins County Master Gardener. Ronnie, good morning.
Good morning to you.
So we've been talking previously about watering, and last time we were talking about the fact that whether it's too dry or too moist, it depends, on the plant and the circumstances, also the soil. And I have heard that Hopkins County, and of course further east, that there's a lot of sandy soil, but you're saying it's mostly clay in Hopkins County?
Well, Mario Villarino, our county agent, said a couple of weeks ago, he did a talk on trees. There's 60 some odd types of soil in Hopkins County.
Wow.
Depending on where you are in Hopkins County, you could have a lot more sand.
Yep.
You can have a lot more clay. You can have varieties, but yeah. There's a lot of different types of soil around here.
And so, but as you were saying before, that if it's sandy soil, then the water tends to run through the soil quicker. And, and dries out then quicker?
Dries out quicker. And same thing would work for anything growing in a container. Containers tend to drain and dry out quicker.
Okay. So this is almost a big job for somebody who's serious about gardening. In the summer especially, to make sure that things, we're not at this point all that concerned about them being too dry or too wet, although they might be at a certain time. But you're looking to see to test a plant to see if it's too dry. What are you doing?
The finger test. Take your finger and stick it into the soil, and it should be moist, not dry. You pull your finger out, it shouldn't be clumped with mud. You know, it shouldn't. It should just be moist.
To a depth of
an inch or two for most plants.
That's going to be. My experience in the summertime is that on average, when you stick your finger in the soil, more often than not, it's going to be dry.
It's very dry.
So you almost have to do some watering every day, don't you?
Well,
to some extent.
Then again, it depends on the soil, how well it drains. Some plants could use water every day. Generally, an inch a week is pretty good for most everything that grows around.
And how do you measure that? Is it with a rain gauge?
You could do that. Some people put a empty tuna fish can out, and as the sprinkler goes back and forth, when you get an inch of water in the can, then you're done for that. Once a week, an inch would be real good.
Is watering using a sprinkler system more effective, or is it more effective to use the hose or watering can?
Well, with a hose, you're going to be there a while.
That's right.
You're going to be there a while.
That's right.
And also with the sprinkler, it's important when you water. If you nature's watering cycle is from 4 to 7 a.m. in the morning. That's when we have dew. Okay. And if you water early in the morning, the plants have time to soak up the water before the sun hits it and evaporates your water. If you water in the middle of the afternoon, you're going to lose a lot of water to evaporation.
But you think it's much better to water in the morning than at night?
Yes. If you water at night, the foliage will be wet and you will promote fungal diseases. It's not good for the plants to stay moist overnight. You water in the morning. If you get some on the foliage, that's okay because it will dry before the sun's rays hit it and maybe burn your plants.
So around sunup,
yes,
is the best. And you have a note here that if you see a plant that's looking wilted in the middle of the day, don't wait until the next morning.
Yeah, plants can't wait. If they're wilting, they're in stress, and you need to get water to them as fast as you can. A weather report of rain tomorrow doesn't do your plant any good today.
We have some sweet potato vine that does very well. But I have noticed I will step outside, it's in a pot, and it'll look wilted. And I will water it in the middle of the afternoon, and within an hour, it's right back like you would like for it to be.
The plant's roots are kind of like straws. They draw the moisture
Mhm.
with all the nutrients in the water up into the plant. And it is amazing how quickly some plants
Yeah.
recover.
Yeah, it is. All right, good. So this is great. Some excellent tips for us on watering. You do say be mindful of the roots and not the leaves.
Right. Water the roots,
Yeah.
not the green parts.
Yeah. So that I'm sure a lot of people make that mistake. All right. So we want to talk about lantana, and I don't know if we have enough time. So we'll just touch on that. And we'll come back and talk about more about lantana, which I think of as a great perennial plant, but you say that it's not necessarily a perennial in this part of Texas.
Well, they're sold as annuals around here, but our winters are mild enough usually that I haven't had a problem with lantana returning and being a perennial.
It's a beautiful plant.
Yes.
When it does well, it covers a lot of ground and just blooms
It
all
can,
summer.
can get 6 feet wide, 6
Right.
feet tall, blooms from spring through fall. And actually, one website said lantanas thrive on neglect. So don't fertilize them, don't water them too much, just let them go. They prefer the drier soil and the heat anyway.
So if you're a lazy gardener, maybe that's the best choice. But they're they're hard to mess up.
Very hardy. Yes,
hardy plants, great. All right, super. Ronnie Wilson, Hopkins County Master Gardener. Thanks for having a cup of coffee with us again.
Anytime.
Second cup of coffee. I'm John Mark Dempsey. This is KSST.